Have you ever met someone who just couldn't stop failing at everything they tried? I knew a guy like that back in college. No matter what he did, things didn't go his way. And if you're anything like me, you probably felt a sense of frustration watching him fail over and over again. But as we watched, there was something strange that started to happen. Even though he failed time and time again, somehow he never gave up. And this gave me hope when my own life felt like it was going nowhere. In today's story, we'll meet a blacksmith who has perfected this art of failing forward. In fact, he took this practice so far that people thought he was crazy. And then something incredible happened. After all his failures, he finally succeeded. So let's dive into the story of the blacksmith who broke every sword he made. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, lived a legendary blacksmith named Einar. Now, Einar wasn't just any blacksmith. Oh, no. His name echoed through the land, not because he was famous for making the strongest swords or the most exquisite armor, but because of his strange and infuriating habit of breaking every single sword he made. Yes, you heard that right. Every sword. People from neighboring villages would come to Einar with orders for custom-made swords, bringing with them precious metals and gemstones to inlay on the hilt. They would wait patiently while Einar, with his massive arms and shoulders, heated the metal until it glowed red-hot and hammered it on his anvil, shaping it into a beautiful blade. When the sword was finished, its edge so sharp it could cut through a thick piece of leather like butter, the customer would be overjoyed. That is, until Einar did the unthinkable. With a final, mighty swing, he would smash the sword against the anvil, bending it beyond repair. And sometimes, he even shattered the sword into pieces. You can imagine the look on these customers' faces when they saw their hard-earned investment turn into a pile of scrap metal. Some would angrily demand their money back, while others just stood in stunned silence, unable to comprehend Einar's actions. To them, it seemed utterly insane to waste such time and effort only to destroy the end product. They thought there had to be some kind of explanation, some logical reason behind Einar's bizarre behavior. So they started to spread rumors about the mysterious blacksmith who broke every sword he made. One day, a young apprentice, Alaric, approached Einar and asked him why he destroyed his amazing swords. Einar looked at him, his face lined with years of hard work and his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "I don't make swords," he said, his voice deep and resonant like the clang of his hammer. "I make blacksmiths." Alaric was confused. "But you break them all before they are finished," he said, gesturing to the piles of metal scraps around them. Einar smiled. "That is exactly how I refine their steel. It's only after they have been broken that they become unbreakable." Alaric still didn't understand, but he decided to trust his master and continued working in the forge. For many years, he watched Einar take great pride in his work, even though it meant destroying each sword. All those years spent in the forge taught Alaric a lot about metal, heat, and temper. He learned how to make a sword stronger, sharper, and more flexible. Yet, despite all his knowledge, he couldn't comprehend why Einar destroyed his own creations. Years went by, and Alaric became a skilled blacksmith himself. Einar, now old and weary, began to slow down. One day, he called Alaric to his side and handed him a small hammer. "It's time you make your first sword," he said. Alaric's heart raced with excitement and a little fear. He carefully selected the finest steel, the same steel that Einar used to make his legendary blades. As he shaped the sword, he put his heart and soul into it, remembering all the lessons Einar had taught him. Finally, the sword was done. It was a masterpiece, a testament to Alaric's skill and dedication. But he knew that according to Einar's tradition, he must now break it. With a heavy heart, Alaric raised the sword above his head and brought it down on the anvil. But something unexpected happened. The sword didn't break. Instead, it remained strong and unyielding. Alaric was shocked. Had he made a mistake? Was the sword not strong enough? He looked at Einar, seeking guidance. But the old blacksmith just smiled mysteriously. Then Einar spoke in a voice raspy with age. "Only when you break something do you learn how to build something that won't?" he said. Alaric realized what he had done. He had made the unbreakable sword. But he hadn't done it by accident. He had learned from Einar, from all the swords that were broken, from all the failures. In fact, his years as an apprentice, watching Einar make and break countless swords, had given him the knowledge to create something truly special. Each broken sword was a step closer to this moment. Alaric understood now that it wasn't about the sword. It was about becoming a better blacksmith. It was about learning from every strike, every bend, and every break. It was about refining his craft through the art of breaking and building. Alaric's unbreakable sword became famous throughout the land. Knights and warriors from distant kingdoms came to him to buy his blades. They paid handsomely, knowing they held in their hands a sword that no enemy could break. And yet, whenever Alaric looked at his swords, he remembered the words of his old master. He understood that his true legacy was not the swords themselves, but the art of breaking and building, failing and succeeding, which he had learned from the legendary blacksmith Einar. This story is a powerful reminder that our greatest strength often lies in our ability to overcome our weaknesses. Just like Alaric, we may face numerous setbacks and failures in our journey, but it's how we respond to these challenges that truly matters. Each failure, like a broken sword, can be an opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve our craft. By embracing our failures and learning from them, we become stronger and wiser, much like Einar, whose years of refining his sword-making skills through trial and error turned him into a legendary blacksmith. Remember that sometimes we must break things in order to build something that won't. Sometimes we need to break free from our comfort zones, break through our self-imposed limitations, and even break our bad habits in order to build a better, stronger version of ourselves. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. So don't be afraid to fail. In fact, embrace your failures and let them propel you towards success. And remember, the art of breaking and building is not just a lesson for blacksmiths. It's a lesson for all of us. And on that note, this concludes our story of the blacksmith who broke every sword he made. But our stories are not yet finished because now, I want to hear from you. Please share with me in the comments section below. What has been your experience with failing and succeeding? How have you learned and grown from your failures? Or maybe you have a story of your own that you would like to share. Please know that your stories are valuable and they inspire others just as stories have inspired you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the timeless tale of the blacksmith who broke every sword he made. If you enjoyed this story and want to continue to explore more inspiring dailies, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you will not only be supporting us, but also be the first to know when we release new videos. Let our stories continue to inspire you and let us know in the comments what other stories you would like to hear. Until next time, keep an open mind, an open heart, and always make time for a good story.